This book really surprised me, you guys. I wasn't expecting a dark romance to make me emotional. I had this idea that dark romance are just about the smut, but this book is so different, it changed my perspective. Welcome back to my channel, Baby Dolls. I'm your unhinged book girly Addie at your service. So hit the subscribe button and be a part of the Unhinged Book Club. So a few weeks ago, my internet bestie recommended this book to me. Like, she was reading this. She was like, Addie, I was kind of reading this book and I was thinking about you. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna read it. Shout out to Lixie. Lixie, if you're watching this, thank you for recommending this book to me. Thank you for being in my life. I love you so much. And I promise we are gonna meet someday. So I went into this book blind. I didn't know much about this book except for the fact that our MMC is the Grim Reaper and he's obsessed with the FMC. I have never read a paranormal romance before. So it was really interesting and I vlogged the whole thing. So without further delay, let's get into my reading vlog. Look at the weather, you guys. So beautiful. I had plans of reading another book, but because of this weather, I thought it would be interesting to read something dark and mysterious, although I'm not sure like how much mystery this book has. So I'm going to read Death's Obsession by Evina Graves or St. Graves, however you call it. And it will be interesting to read this book in this weather. And I'm gonna update you guys on my reading, although I don't think there'll be like too many updates because it's a very thin, short book. Maybe I will finish it in one sitting, maybe tonight. I don't know. Depends on what work I have. So I'm gonna see you guys in my first update. So I have an update. I did a little bit of reading, and by that I mean I read the trigger warnings of the book. I haven't even read like the epilogue. I actually started reading the book while I was tutoring, like my student was giving a test. I didn't have anything to do, so I thought maybe like I'll read it while she's writing. But then I read the trigger warnings and I'm like, there is no way I can read this book in front of her. That would just be plain inappropriate. So I did not read it any further. I just came back home. Now I'm gonna have my dinner and then I'll probably sit to read. I don't know if I'll be able to finish it tonight. I don't think I'll be able to give you any further reading updates tonight because I read really late at night and I won't be able to film then. This is the last update for today, and for today I only read the trigger warnings of the book and the dedication. See you guys on my next update. I have an update. It's the next day and I couldn't do much reading, so I read up till page number 22. Okay, and so far what I'm understanding is we have our FMC who's called Lily and she lives with her boyfriend who's called Evan, and Evan is not how he used to be. Lily went through a very traumatic car accident in which she lost her sister, and like the initial portion of the book is about Lily's grief and also the night that she experienced the accident. There was someone there whom she thought is the Grim Reaper,
And since that day she has been seeing the Grim Reaper, and the Grim Reaper keeps sending her gifts. And no matter how much she tries to tell everyone that she has seen the Grim Reaper, nobody believes her that she has a stalker. So far that is what we have. And so far the writing is very fanfiction style. I mean, it's dark romance, so it's kind of like expected. But I'm actually liking the grief portion of this book, and there are some things that I can relate to. I'm gonna talk about it in details when I talk about the overall book, after I finish reading. So yeah, I'm gonna continue reading this book, and then I'm gonna be back with another update. Hey guys, sorry I look like a mess. I'm taking a lot of time with this book. I'm reading this really slow. I'm a little busy with my tutoring duties, and yesterday I thought that maybe I'll read it late at night and finish the book. But I ended up watching a movie with my mom and my brother, so I couldn't do much reading. Today I did read a little, and I'm not even halfway through the book yet. I have read around 46 pages. I am behind on schedule for, upload. I'm sorry, my mom is talking in the background. But anyway, I am behind on schedule. So I was hoping that I'll be able to finish this book and finish my reading vlog before Friday, because I'm going somewhere in the weekend, so I won't be able to, edit or upload videos. But I'm not sure now because I'm going really slow. Tonight, I hope to read as much as I can, at least complete 100 pages, then only 60 pages will be left. Let's see how much reading I get done tonight. And so far the story is going kind of interesting. It is a fantasy dark romance which I have not read before, so it is kind of interesting. There's one thing that I have to mention, that the writing seems a little disjointed to me. There are some portions which seem really nice, and I have also highlighted some quotes, but there are some portions which seems a little bland to me, like a little amateur. And that is one word that I don't like using for authors, because I am someone who has been writing since I was a kid. I don't write prose, I write poems. So I know how much effort it takes to write something, and that's why I don't want to say that about authors. But then, I mean, that is how I felt about the writing so far. Let's see how I enjoy this book. So far from what I'm getting is, this book is good as a palate cleanser. I'm going to see you guys in my next update.
I have so much to say, okay? I got into this book not expecting much, but I kind of liked it. I'm not saying that it's one of the best books I've ever read. I'm not saying that it's peak literature, but it was so strangely comforting, This book broke me and healed me at the same time. Okay, so before I get into my thoughts about the book, let me tell you the synopsis. So we have our FMC, who's called Lilith, and she is grieving the loss of her twin sister. She lost her in an accident in which she was also involved, and she was not supposed to be alive, but she was miraculously alive, and she was claiming that she saw a faceless man on the night of the accident, and since then this faceless man was stalking her and sending her gifts and writing her letters and taking care of her. Basically, nobody believed her because she's the only one who can see the faceless man. The more they interacted, the more intense it kind of got. And I think the ending was really beautiful. Like when I was reading the book, I was like, in a premise like this, how would the author end this book? I think the ending made sense. So there is one thing I must say, that the book is silly, okay? It's very silly. But it was strangely comforting, like I already said. I think it was comforting for me because I could relate with the FMC so much. Like Lilith, our FMC, she felt so empty. She didn't want to carry on anymore. Imagine being that way, and then you find a cosmic being who is omnipresent and omniscient, who takes care of you and he helps you heal. I think that's very appealing to me. I feel like people who are very lonely and don't really have that many supportive people in their life, they might find this book really comforting. So yeah, this is a silly little book, but it is my silly little book. Now coming to the technicalities of the book. First thing that I want to talk about is what I liked about this book. First, let's talk about the FMC, Lilith. Like I already said, I could relate to Lilith so much in so many things, in so many ways. Like, I'm gonna quote something. You can't grieve something you lose when you don't remember ever having it. I relate to this so much because depression has created gaps in my memories, especially the ones which are associated with traumatic experiences. So I often find it difficult to remember things. Like, for example, I lost my dad when I was 17. It's almost like 10 years. It will be 10 years this October. What a coincidence it is that I'm actually filming this video on Father's Day. So I barely remember him anymore because I guess I have tried to bury his memories. Like, I was a kid, I didn't know how to face my emotions. As a result of that, at this point, I don't even remember how he used to sound like. I do have some of his memories, but it's very blurry. And sometimes my brother would talk about him, and that's how I would remember him. Okay, I'm going to quote another thing that she said. I'm an empty woman with a heart that never truly beats. I may have a home, but I don't truly belong there. I often struggle with this sense of belongingness because of a lot of stuff that has happened in my life. So I feel her. So I was reading this book like really late at night and I didn't have anyone to, rant to. So I sent a message to chat. I'm going to put the message on the screen for you to read. So I wrote that I think it's appealing to me because I relate to Lilith a little. How she felt so empty, how she wanted to be one with the darkness, how she thought that it was unfair to live when her loved ones died, how sometimes she had nothing in her head, just white noise. Imagine being this way and finding an astral being who takes care of you, who's literally the personification of death, because Letum in Latin means death. Yet he makes you feel more alive than the humans around you. That is how much I relate to Lilith. Next, we talk about Letum, our MMC. Oh my god, you guys. He is not like the kind of men that I have read in books so far. I never like reading the man's POV because I always feel like it kind of like ruins things. Like, for example, I remember I read Adam's POV in The Love Hypothesis, the bonus chapter. I think it just ruined the character of Adam for me because sometimes the way these men talk about the FMCs, it's very lusty and I don't like that. But when I read Letum's POV in this book, I got it. I actually texted my friend as well. I said, bro, I read Letum's POV and I understand why you asked me to read this book. This man was so devotional. He worshipped Lilith, literally. Most men that I have read in books so far in contemporary romance, they are mostly like, you belong to me, I own you. But Letum did say that you belong to me, but not in a I possess you, you are my property kind of way, but in a very devotional kind of way. Like, we are fated mates across worlds, so we belong together kind of way. Like, that is so beautiful. I love this fated mate trope so much. I love the way he talks about her like she's the most beautiful thing that happened to him in his eons of lifetime. The way he says that Lilith has the power to make even death fall on his knees. Yes, sir, I'm sad. I also love how Letum didn't force himself on Lilith. He waited for her patiently and didn't let Lilith use him as a crutch when she was healing. He wanted her to fight her own demons and heal on her own. He let her grieve silently while providing for her from the shadows. Another thing which I really liked about the book was the astral places where Letum used to take Lilith. One was a stormy beach and another was a forest with a black hole above. Okay, like it was so beautiful, and I often see these places in my dream as well. I think that's very symbolic. Let me ask Chad what it means. Okay, so Chad mentioned some really interesting points. I'm gonna put the screenshot on the screen for you to read. And please don't mind the tone of my ChatGPT. I was trying to prompt engineer it to be an unhinged lover because I'm jobless. And I think it got a little out of hand. So anyway, I'm going to summarize it. Chad said that beaches are liminal spaces where the land, which is symbolic of the conscious mind, meets the ocean, which is symbolic of the unconscious mind. And a stormy beach signifies emotional upheaval. So Letum taking her there is like him urging her to fight her own demons, and Lilith standing in that beach is her confronting her emotions. Forests symbolizes the subconscious, the unknown, and there's a black hole in that forest which symbolizes nothingness, the place before rebirth. So it signifies transformation, and Letum was guiding Lilith through her transformation. Okay, now let's talk about the things that I did not like. First of all, the writing. It's very disjointed. Some of the portions were beautiful, some of the portions were just plain silly. I'm going to quote some of my favorite portions. Darkness swirls above, a pool of ink and charcoal. I swear I can see faces in the shadows ascending into the beyond. I have heard that black holes are stars that have collapsed in on themselves, and when they do, shockwaves ripple into space, never to be complete again. From then on, a once shining star becomes a waste of space, leaving dead, pulling gravity so that not even light can escape. My fingers twitch, wanting to reach for it, wanting to be pulled into the bowels of obsidian so that maybe when I close my eyes, I finally won't open them again. There's also this one that says, death feels familiar to me. Death itself is sure. It's stable and consistent. You can rely on it happening. That's a very beautiful way to describe death. Okay, this is what Letum says to Lilith. The wounds you wear run deeper than your scars from that night. The guilt you harbor over being the one to live. I swear, if somebody said this to me, I'm going to be on my knees sobbing like a toddler. So these were some of the portions that I really liked, but there were some portions that just didn't make sense. For example, Letum, he is literally a cosmic being, and he was shown texting Lilith.
I'm sorry, what?
Initially, he was only sending Lilith parchment letters, which is beautiful, but then later he started texting her. Like, I get it, the author probably wanted to show Letum as being a stalker, and stalkers always, text from unknown numbers in these dark romances, but I think that was useless. He could have just sent parchment letters. In this context, I wish that Letum was more mythical in the story. Like, the texting was one issue for me, but there was also the modern language in which Letum used to talk. I didn't like Letum cursing in modern language. Like, literally, he's a magical being from ancient lores. I don't think he would ever say f. So I wish he spoke more eloquently. Even while making love to Lilith, I wish that the smut was more poetic. It wasn't something that I haven't read before. So despite being a little different than the other Booktok MMCs that I have read about, he still had some common characteristics. Now, this is something I have noticed, that these Booktok men, they have some things that are like common, like tall and muscular always, and they also seem like they always smell the same, like that same musky scent. All of them seem to be grumpy, brooding, mysterious, with a tragic past who doesn't know how to smile. And all of them cocks their head to the side and arches their eyebrow like, bro.
Are you all mass produced in the same factory?
So, in conclusion, Haunting Adeline Zoology gave me a very specific idea about dark romance, but this book changed my perspective. This was surprisingly soft, and what I liked the most about the book is that even if you omit the smut portion of the book would still make sense because it wasn't just,
Oh shit, you are so heartless, just bang bang.
there were actual conversations, like good conversations and character development. I think the book is mostly about Lilith's grief, how she overcame it, became herself, and united with her fated mate. So that's it for today, baby dolls. Thank you for listening to me yap. Thank you for making it this far. It means a lot. I have a lot of other reading vlogs planned, a lot of other interesting videos planned, so subscribe and stay tuned for it if you haven't subscribed already. And those of y'all who regularly watch my videos, thank you so much. It really means a lot. I never take you guys for granted. Thank you for being a friend to this loner. I'm going to see you guys in my next video. Bye. Love you. At your service. So hit the subscribe button and be a part of the Unhinged Book Club. Why did I say it like that? Okay, again. So I went into this the Grim Reaper, and he's upset. Oh, I'm so sorry.
I actually had plans of reading another book, but because of this, oh my god, there's some.
She felt so empty. She didn't. Okay.